Adrian Webb Mortgage Advisors. I've been doing this for about 20 years at this point, so been in the mortgage business for quite a bit of time.
And the mortgage business is extremely non-sexy, if that's a word.
Sure.
And extremely boring business combined with an extremely sexy business. I think you're hedging very well.
We're never just looking for a deal. We want to work with people that we enjoy being around because that's the type of business we've built.
You've been named the top 1% in your industry since 2018.
So the top 1% is probably the top, 5,000 in the country, which the top in probably the top 3 in the state of Washington. So you should always do well. So I just work super hard. I get up really early. I work late. It's like one of those things where if you enjoy what you do, you'll never work a day. I sent out 600 personalized videos that had their name on an iPad, said how many buyers they did last year, how many listings they did. The tool of which Gan.AI gives you the ability to get personalized with the sign and the fact that you can put what you're going to put on the sign and send that out. And then the landing page, it's a game changer.
Hi, Adrian. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this. Really appreciate you getting on this call with us, and would love to understand, Adrian, your journey. Would love to get started by just knowing more about you and how your journey has been along this decade or so.
Wow. Yeah. Adrian Webb. So I have my own company, Adrian Webb Mortgage Advisors. I've been doing this for about 20 years at this point. So been in the mortgage business for quite a bit of time. My wife and I also own an Irish pub. So we kind of stay busy with an Irish pub in our community, which is kind of fun and a great way to kind of network with the community and people in the area. So basically been doing this quite a while, have seen great success also with Gan.AI, and we do a whole lot of video in our kind of through our process and in our business. So obviously having a tool like Gan.AI has been super helpful.
Excellent. Would love to, Adrian, know from you, how did you start both of these businesses, both the Irish pub as well as the mortgage business? What got you interested in both of them? If you can go back in the timeline and know when did you start both businesses, and how do they go hand in hand if they do at all?
Yeah, good question. So I've been in the mortgage business, didn't have my own company initially, but kind of got into the mortgage business back in 2004 through a friend of mine that was working at a top company. So he kind of encouraged me to get involved and thought I'd be good at mortgage. So back then I kind of got into it. Took some time away from the business during kind of the housing and mortgage crisis of 2007. I actually had a mortgage company in Las Vegas, Nevada, where that market was extremely hot and then extremely cold very quickly. And actually, the way I met my wife, who runs the pub with me, is I just got a job just at a restaurant to make day-to-day money, just because the mortgage business was in such a difficult spot, and I was, not ready to kind of leave the market that I was in. So I stayed in Las Vegas and continued to kind of work through mortgage a bit, but also had a job in a restaurant. And then I moved to Washington when the market kind of recovered and kind of got back full-fledged into mortgage in like 2011. And then when I was kind of going through my mortgage career, one of the things I got into that I knew was very valuable is coaching and mentoring through the core coaching, which is a kind of a national coaching program. And they were very big about, not only being part of the community, but face-to-face meetings and interacting with people in a better way. So when I found out that the local Irish pub was for sale, I thought, what better way to, kind of intertwine my business as well as be super genuine with being a business owner in my community. Because basically, my office was in a different city. So I thought, how do you really be a part of the local chamber of commerce and part of the community when your office is different? So I didn't think that was as genuine. So owning a business in our local community seemed like a great idea, but we bought it just before COVID. So we kind of saw, state mandated close down of that business. And then during that time, luckily, the mortgage business was doing very well. So I was able to My wife and I were able to invest in the that business and do a 2.5 year remodel, bringing everything in from Ireland and kind of developing that business to be kind of a really unique spot that we've since reopened, and it's very much a pillar of the community based on it all being very authentic and brand new and all that. So now the businesses work very well together because I do events there. Realtors love to kind of go to happy hours. We do use that space when it's there's one day a week that we're closed where we can kind of do different meetings and different whiskey tastings and other things. So it's been really really good to have those businesses work together. Like this month, for example, we're highlighting a prime rate burger because it's we can kind of play off the word prime and the federal funds prime rate. So I'm on all the screens advertising this burger and talking about potentials for mortgage review or refinancing and things like that. So kind of fun. Definitely I don't know if I'd recommend that path with regards to, and looking back on it, it's been, very, very difficult. And without my wife, we would not have the ability. She's just a fantastic operator and can run the bar, runs the kitchen, and just is extremely good. So without her, there's no way these businesses could work together because she's just, so good at keeping that place in the condition that it needs to be successful.
That's very cool because the way I look at these two businesses is that, the bar business is like extremely sexy and the mortgage business is extremely non-sexy, if that's a word.
Sure.
And extremely boring business combined with an extremely sexy business. I think you're hedging very well. A lot of people tell, people like me and people like, ones who are like in the early part of their career that it's best to get into boring businesses because, that's where you make a lot of money and
Right.
all the restaurants and bars are like great attraction, but then they don't make as much money as you think they do. I think you're
Sure.
hedging very well, and I think that hedge also worked out in the COVID scenario, right?
Right. You're exactly right. Obviously, one business being obviously the right place and the right time for it, and obviously the restaurant business not so much. And it's funny, yeah, you're exactly so. I know the mayor, I know the city council people. I know there's no way that if I just had a mortgage business, the mayor would know me by name and elected me to this economic development council and all these different things within the community that there's no way just a boring mortgage company would kind of have that access. So it has been a game changer in regard to just having the access to those relationships, like the city breakfasts, all the police officers and firefighters. The whole city does their breakfast at our pub every year. So and we do like a holiday event. So there's just a lot of stuff that leverages that space. But you're exactly right. I mean, it doesn't make a whole lot of money because there's just food costs, labor, all the things that go into that business. Is very challenging to really turn a profit, but at the same time, it's a really cool thing to be a part of the community for sure.
Yeah. And I think relationship building comes along with kind of both businesses, right? Especially the mortgage business. Does that come naturally to you? I know you're very very good at it. I've heard great things from Sachin, from a lot of people actually who are from similar industries, and also our customers tell us that they know you. Like I just want to know, is this something you built over time? Is this a skill you built over time because it was critical to the business, or did relationship building come naturally always?
I think it's, and gosh, I could always, be better at it. You could always, definitely do more, but um, I definitely leaned into events and relationships. I think one of the things that my 100% Irish mom is just super outgoing and just friendly and likable and I think I learned a lot both from her and from my dad in building relationships and just being respectful and somebody that other people want to be around. But I do feel that anytime you can show people your personality and just obviously try and enjoy your time with people, that leads to like and I tell people, especially when I'm talking to realtors, I will not work with a realtor that I don't enjoy spending time with because all I do for the most part is work between the pub and mortgage. So we're never just looking for a deal. We want to work with people that we enjoy being around because that's the type of business we've built. And I think realtors and financial planners and all the people that kind of refer business to us enjoy us and they also trust us, right? So we're always going to do the right thing. We're always going to follow through. We're always going to kind of, make sure that the client is taken care of. So I think the relationship is the first part, and then the second part is actually performing and really caring and nurturing those relationships to make sure that things go smoothly. So I think that's something that luckily I've got an amazing team that is my backbone to make sure that the files go smoothly once we bring them in. But yeah, I think the relationship part, there's a lot of things I'm not great at as far as certain things. Uh, so like I go out to open houses and meet with realtors. I'll go to different events. I'll invite them to stuff because that's the thing I can really give my team is building those relationships and keeping the referral partners, sending in clients and those kind of things. And then obviously there's plenty of things that my team handles much better than I ever could. So luckily I've got them to kind of ensure that all the systems and processes in the back end go well.
And I think all of this is kind of working in harmony. And, I saw that you've been named top 1% in your industry since 2018. What kind of, what does this even mean in your world, right? Like how big is the TAM for this? How big is the universe for this? And what does the top 1% mean? Because I don't come from this industry, but I mean, it's really
Yeah.
fascinating to see someone being in the top 1% for the last 6 years now, I feel. Right? And how big of a deal is it?
It's hard to say. I mean, 1% of say there's probably, 50,000 originators in the US. So it's a pretty large group. I mean, I'm fairly close to the top like 200. That's always like probably a better metric that I strive for that we just haven't quite hit yet. As far as I know, this year we might make it. But so the top 1% is probably the top, 5,000 in the country, which is good. But obviously I've got I'm in the top, few for some of like the deals that we send to our top investors. I'm always number one in our company. I'm always kind of the top in probably the top three in the state of Washington. So nationwide, our top 1% is it's such a big, vast scope. It's hard to really, put
Yeah.
your finger on what that really means. But there's other things that we strive for. And really it's less about the numbers and all that kind of stuff, but it's really about kind of growing our business and taking care of clients in the right way. And the closed transactions kind of come with it. And I always just feel like we have an obligation as individuals to, kind of perform at the best that you can, just because that we've got the opportunity to do certain things. So I really never want to take our skills or our products or our team and our process for granted. And because we have all these great formulas in place, we should always do well. So I just work super hard. I get up really early. I work late. It's like one of those things where if you enjoy what you do, you'll never work a day. Like I'm always working when I'm at the pub, talking to tables, which, could be a lot worse. I could be digging ditches or working in construction. People are like, oh my gosh, you never stop working. I'm like, well, I'm on the phone for mortgages or in front of people on Zoom, and then I get to talk to people at the pub and get to know the community. Like, I'm not working that hard, but to other people it might seem like that. But I've always, like I said, driven to wake up early, work hard, do everything we can to kind of produce in a way that is meaningful. But like I said, I'm lucky that the two jobs I have aren't all that difficult for sure.
And since I think customer service comes pretty handy in this business, is the assumption right that most of your new business would come from referrals from happy customers? You would typically see more business coming from there, or is there any other marketing hack that has been working out really well for you?
Yeah, so we get about 30% of our business from our database and past clients that refer other people to us. And then we got like 70%, well, actually probably 60% from realtors. So realtors are our big referral source when they have a client that needs a loan and kind of needs help. And and obviously they love kind of coming into the pub and doing their buyer presentations, and I get to kind of meet their people and stuff like that. And then another 10% from like business referrals, like from financial planners, divorce attorneys, people from the chamber, all that kind of stuff. So that's actually one of the pillars that we need to build a little bit more. Like I have all these connections, but I, haven't kind of asked for the business or let them know that we really, kind of what we're looking for in the right client. So, but yeah, other than some of our social media and things like that, that we generate some of our own business, we're almost 100%, word of mouth and referrals from either realtors, past clients, or, financial planners or business people. Mhm.
Fantastic. And I think that's where the use of Gan.AI and video personalization also kind of was, right? I mean, I think you use us for mostly communicating with your customers, with your referral partners, etc. How's that experience been, and how exactly have you benefited from using Studio by Gan.AI?
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, so because I do so much in video and I know that, everything is so impersonal these days. I mean, you just get bombarded by text messages and cold emails and all this noise, right? So how do you like stand out? Well, I always do, and you've probably seen some of my videos where, I have like an iPad that I hold up and I put
Yeah,
their name on it. So I've always been doing iPad and a GIF with their name so that people know it's for them, right? So the highest likelihood of somebody clicking on a video is if they think it's personalized, because then it's like, oh gosh, they took the time to record a video for me, right? So I think the power of GAN AI is the personalization for the click rates. So like for example, I did a Power into the New Year Realtor event at the pub where we had panel speakers, and I invited, agents. And for me, like I sent out 600 personalized videos that had their name on an iPad, said how many buyers they did last year, how many listings they did, what brokerage they're at, how we can help them grow. And the response rate to that, it's unbelievable because you get when you can personalize a video and I can send out 600 instead of me personally doing 600 videos,
yeah,
and you get even a 15%, which sounds small, but 15% response rate on a video that goes out to 600 people. I guarantee you, most people, if you send a blanket market email to 600 people, you might get 5 clicks if they think it's just like a Friday update or something generic, right? So it is the tool of which GAN AI gives you the ability to get personalized with the sign, and the fact that you can put what you're going to put on the sign and send that out. And then the landing page, I mean, it's a game changer. We're actually right now launching our next step of our process, which is we also do quite a bit with handwritten letters, because again, nobody handwrites letters anymore. You get all these like constant contact with all this typing stuff, and everybody knows it just went out to 1,000 people. They don't care, they throw it away, right? So now if you can have a handwritten letter, and we're working at putting a QR code in that letter that says, hey, for a $25 gift certificate to Saints and Scholars, scan this QR code for a personalized video. And then that video has very specifics about when they bought their property, how much they paid for it. It's generally, it's directed right at them. That's going to be, I think, another thing that I'm presenting that to realtors, that we have the ability to do this. And of course, realtors are always looking at ways to kind of reach homeowners in given pockets and neighborhoods. So that's kind of our next iteration of all this. But the tool itself, and then what you can do to take that tool and leverage it to make, other connections, it's unbelievable, and it continues to get better. But I'm so grateful. I tried two other AI video companies before GAN AI, and it's the concept of AI video, relatively speaking, is not new, right? It's been around a couple of years, but I've never been able to successfully implement our project without the support of you guys. So Shajan kind of getting in there, fixing things, working through the things I messed up, and then making sure, and then checking back up to say, hey, did this work? Hey, can we tweak this? What do we need to do? And then I say, hey, I want to do this. And next thing you know, he's got developers working on it and changing and I mean, it's amazing, right? So when you can then customize the product because you guys have a whole team of developers behind you, And within a few days, now it's like, hey, yeah, you can do this. I know you asked about this. Now we can change it to where you could show and drop in this part during the video. You can do a personalized URL. I mean, it's crazy. Like I would show when I'm doing a video and then it shows their website and scrolling through their face, like people are just blown away. They're like, how the heck? Again, they just feel like it's a completely personalized video, which would take me forever to do, and
Yeah.
you can do it at scale, which again, it's amazing and I'm excited because it just keeps getting better.
Well, thank you so much for that, and a great validation for, the work that has gone behind it. But really, really glad that you're finding value. This is one way to use AI in the mortgage industry. Any other, key changes you foresee happening in the next few years, with AI, taking over? What is your take on, the use of AI in mortgage industry at large, and where do you think this is headed?
Man, well, I don't know. I know AI is getting so good. I feel like I could be out of a job in a couple of years. I don't know. I mean, obviously, people say no, they're always going to need people, and then the people use the AI, and that's what they do. But I don't know. I mean, there's some AI stuff that it's scary, right? So I don't know if at some point now, more than likely, like, luckily the relationship side of it and people still want to work with people, and there's all these different things that kind of go into planning a mortgage that would be very hard for a AI model to really the if a first time home buyer puts in a prompt, they don't know what they don't know, right? So that's
Yeah.
really difficult. They do need somebody hopefully to walk them through the process. And then there's licensing and all these things. So I feel like the actual loan advisor, what I do is fairly protected. But again, with what AI is doing, I don't think anything is safe. Now, you know, underwriters and back end processing and all the things that kind of can
Yeah.
be automated, I think that's going to really change, and that's obviously imminent, like it's already happening now. Now, how much it continues to change, nobody knows on how good these AI models get at some point, but it's pretty impressive and it's scary. And I'm hopeful that at least our team can use it to leverage that tool to then get more clients and still kind of take care of enough people and not AI ourselves out of a job, but you never know for sure because this stuff's changing so quickly. So hopefully I find a way to make the pub make some money because you can never AI a beer, a Guinness at a bar, right? So maybe that's my fallback plan if it all goes sideways.
Yeah, no, I think you're one of the early adopters, and you're right. I mean, I think once we're using AI, will definitely benefit from AI first, and I'm glad you're one of those early adopters who are using AI to your business's advantage. And I'm sure in different departments of your work, you'll start seeing a lot of AI tools coming up, and many of them might help you, kind of do your stuff more efficiently. Uh,
hmm
Finally, like for someone who's getting started in the mortgage industry today, any piece of advice for them on how to get where you've gotten over the years? Any advice for young talent getting started in this industry?
Yeah, I mean, I think the most important thing is getting experience and then building relationships. So I was really lucky when I got back into the business after a little bit out of it, after the kind of the Las Vegas thing. My previous business partner, had stayed in the mortgage business the whole time, and I got back onto a team with him, and he had a lot of realtors locally and all that kind of stuff, and I could, leverage the team's experience and the company's experience and all that until I could kind of build up enough of my own experience to show and give realtors confidence. So you really want to get like a mentor or onto a team so that, the hardest part when you're learning the mortgage business is getting enough reps to get good at it. Like if you do one loan a month, it's going to take you 5 years, to do 60 loans, right? That's not going to work. You need to be seeing 5 or 8 loans a month to really learn and understand FHA versus conventional versus jumbo versus VA. So if you're on a team where there's a lot of activity and transactions happening, you're going to expedite, your experience dramatically. So getting onto something where you're going to see, even if you're not making a whole lot initially, to get the experience and kind of get that background And then it also helps you speak intelligently when you're talking to realtors because now you've got some, you've seen things, you know things. You're like, it's 3% down first time home buyer versus no FHA, or you learn about what the Federal Reserve is all about and interest rates in the bond market and all the things that you have to be able to speak on intelligently to gain a realtor's trust for them to send you a client. You need to be immersed in that environment to kind of get, obviously into a better spot. So kind of being on a team initially, find somebody that can mentor you and kind of do that. And then the next thing is, obviously always having some kind of an event or happy hour or lunch and learn or something on the calendar. Because whenever you call an agent and you're inviting them to something, versus just saying, "Hey, can you send me a client?" Like it's a whole different thing, right? So I always have either a happy hour that I'm promoting. I either have a lunch and learn coming up. I have another, whiskey dinner, whatever it might be. Like we've got an event on October 8th that we're doing a networking event, and you're always going to talk about what's in it for them, right? So, hey, I've got this event October 8th. There's going to be 100 realtors there. It's so much easier to get your buyers under contract if you have a working relationship with the listing agent. I'm going to provide food and drinks from our pub. You're going to be able to meet all these different people. I'm also doing a panel discussion to talk about how to leverage our tools to get more business and get more listings. You should come. I'd love for you to be my guest. I'll send you over the evite. Just fill it out and we'll get you set up. And obviously it's tough because a lot of times new LOs like I don't have the money for a happy hour. I don't have this, but you can always find ways. I mean, it's not that expensive to do a small happy hour with three or four agents and just have a couple drinks and bring them out and cover an appetizer. So it's really important to again, the biggest things are relationships, which is why I do events and happy hours, and then learning the actual tools and the actual business and being on something where you're going to see enough transactions to be able to leverage that to then grow your business.
That is pure gold. Thank you so much, Adrian. This was lovely. And thank you so much again for taking the time out for all of us. I think this will be very insightful for anyone who's from the industry or, from the, real estate industry at large. And I'm sure, this would be as valuable to them as it was for me. Thank you so much for spending time with
Happy to
us.
do it, and thanks for creating such a great product. We're grateful for Gan.AI, so thanks a ton for that as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, appreciate it. Thanks.